Hello everyone, Pollution here, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some quest building. This might be broken up into several different videos because quests are a lot to go over. Quests are pretty much structured storylines that are created by world builders that players can experience within their game. Each quest is made up of steps that include scenes, objectives, and events that are all set up by the world builder. Each scene can have 1 to 4 branching paths that follow the player's directions, skill checks, and triggered events. These paths take players from one step to another, and sometimes they feature new locations or updates to the current location. I'm mostly going to be going over quests today. I might do a different one specifically for one-shots, but what I'm going to talk to you guys about are how to build a quest essentially. And there are different ways that you could do it. When you're building a quest, you can always use the in-game AI and just give it some ideas, to kind of give it an idea of what you're looking for. But make sure that you keep the locations and quest givers in mind when you do this. The AI right now creates pretty linear quests that don't have paths that branch off into other directions. So I would really recommend that you take more of an active role when you're writing the quests and putting them all together. I have an example here that I'm going to be taking you through. This is this is actually a one-shot, but the way that it works is similar to a quest, so all of this stuff is pretty much the same. The only thing that's different is how you start a one-shot versus how you start a quest. So I might do a different video for the one-shots, but I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about how you start creating a quest. And you want to start off with a quest description. So quest descriptions are only things that are viewed by the player. You could have up to 2,000 characters worth of stuff that you write there that only the players can see. You kind of want to use it to explain what the quest is about and what kind of challenges or story they're going to expect. The GM hook instructions are something different though. These are instructions that the AI uses to pull players into the quest. It can be a scene, a rumor, some kind of sudden event, a message, or an encounter. It's just something to get the players pulled into. And then the players can decide if they want to go on the quest or not. For this, you kind of want to describe where and how the quest begins. You want to talk about the quest giver, what they do or what they say. Just make sure you have everything that Franz needs to, hook the player in. The quest giver is very important. You want to choose a quest giver that fits the story, and you want to build the quest around them usually. If you have a quest in mind, but you don't have an NPC that fits the quest, then just make a new one. A vegetable vendor, just as an example, wouldn't send you out to slay a dragon. It's your job to make the quest believable. Quest difficulty shows how hard a quest will be. If it's easy, that's usually delivery or fetch quests. If it's hard, that's, dungeons, heists, major combat. That's the kind of stuff you're going to expect there. Quest tags tell the players what kind of quest you're going to go on. Combat, investigation, puzzle, that kind of stuff. Players can avoid quests that they don't really think they'll enjoy, and they could look for quests that they think they'll have fun doing. Quest prerequisites set a level limit to keep players from starting quests that they can't handle. And you could also make quest chains that require players to complete other quests first. And this is a fun way for you to, expand your world and kind of tell a story for people. We're going to get into the quest steps now, and this is where it starts to get a little bit difficult to follow, right? But bear with me. Quest steps are the building blocks of a quest. Each quest step represents some kind of scene, an objective, or a plot moment that's in the quest. A step includes GM instructions that tell the AI how to run that part of the story, a specific location where the scene takes place, and, scene information like NPCs, monsters, items, or other elements. Steps can be linked together with branching paths like these right here that you see. They represent the player choices and the different triggers that allow for different kinds of storytelling or multiple outcomes. The structure kind of lets world builders create detailed and reactive narratives. So you could use that as a tool just to, make your world a whole lot more fun to play in. GM instructions are written prompts that tell the AI how to narrate a scene. For these, you want to describe the setting and the different details that are important here. If you miss something, don't worry, the AI is just going to come up with stuff on their own. But if you want something to be in there, definitely incorporate it here. This handles how NPCs are going to act, how they're going to react to things, or scripted moments. You could put dialogue in there. Just be careful because you only have 2,500 characters for these steps, so you want to make the GM instructions count. Some of the GM instructions could be simple, but you could also make it complex if you want. It's really up to you. You could put hints or suggestions for how the AI should guide the player. or different paths or multiple directions that a scene could take, and you could put all that in GM instructions. So you could really simplify a lot of steps just in there. The step locations are the exact place where each step happens. You want to pick a location in your world that, will set the scene for the quest, something that's, relevant to what you're doing. All the steps can happen in one location, or you could move them around to multiple locations across the map. Arrival scene setup. This is a little bit tricky. It controls what the players see and experience when arriving at a step. So it kind of rewrites what they see there if they're on a quest. So it could also let you place NPCs, monsters, and items at a scene that aren't there unless the players are at the quest. So it shows like what's happening when they arrive. Like if there's a fight, or if the town square is like completely empty. Some NPCs that were there before are not there in this location just because you're on the quest. Or some NPCs that are never at that location, you'll find will pop up there. Same thing with monsters as well. Here you could also change the description of the location. You could update the map and the location image. Some of the things I like to do is if it's like a nighttime quest, I just take the image that I use for the cover, and I change that to just a nighttime view. I just throw it into ChatGPT and I tell it, make the scene nighttime, like that kind of thing. Makes it really nice when the players arrive at a scene. They're like, whoa, it's completely different because it's nighttime. I've done that with maps too. You could change the map images as well. The last thing I want to talk about are quest paths and completion scene setups. So the quest paths are the branching player choices, right, and triggers. So each of these paths need a trigger or an outcome. Well, a trigger and an outcome. A trigger is a condition that has to be met before the players can move on, and the outcome is what happens after the trigger. So you use triggers and outcomes to help guide the player from one step to the next. And this is really important to understand. When you're doing the triggers, try to make them as straightforward as possible. Don't make them incredibly lengthy and filled with a whole bunch of detail, because that'll sometimes confuse the AI. If you tell the AI 20 different things have to be accomplished for this trigger to happen. If the players are on a quest and they're supposed to be retrieving an item, the quest trigger could just say the players retrieve the item. And that makes it a whole lot easier for the AI to be like, okay, you completed that trigger, what's the outcome? If you have a whole bunch of things that the player has to do before they get that item, like the players go down this hallway and the players open the door and the players unlock the treasure chest and the players find the item and the players leave the building. And if that's the whole quest trigger, then that's a lot of things that need to be accomplished for the next outcome. So you want to keep that in mind when you're creating these triggers. You want to make them simple and easy to understand so it doesn't really confuse the player. The completion scene setup works kind of like the arrival scene setup, but it's just after a step is completed. You use it to change the same location that the players are still in. And, if the players blow up a building, you can update the map to show that it's a crater, and it's pretty cool to do that kind of stuff. You could also change the location image and text for that as well. And it helps show progress and consequences in real time in quests. So you could really, mess around and make things fun. When you're concluding your quest at the very end, you want to wrap up the quest with rewards, consequences, the potential for new quests to be unlocked through different prerequisites. When concluding a quest, you also want to make the player feel like what they've done matters. It could really be as simple as, some kind of thank you from the NPC and some gold or some solar credits in this case. But as long as they get some kind of a reward or some kind of feeling of accomplishment afterwards, that's the thing that matters. Don't leave them hanging with no XP and no rewards or anything. Give them something. Now that I showed you guys how the quests work, I'm going to show you guys how I build quests. I have really big, lengthy quests, and I realize that I like those, but at the same time, I also like quicker quests that are a little bit more compact and easier for the AI to understand, with very simple triggers that aren't confusing at all. So when I make these ones, I like to do them as one-step quests, and that's pretty much what I call it, just a one-step quest, where there's a hook, and then the GM instructions give pretty much all the additional information that the players need to know about it, and the players go out and they accomplish whatever needs to be accomplished at whatever location they need to go to, and then they just return, and then they give the NPC whatever they were supposed to give them, or they accomplish whatever they need to accomplish, and the trigger is them meeting back with the NPC after having accomplished whatever that task is. Something simple and straightforward that doesn't have any bells and whistles, that's not really confusing, and it gets the job done, essentially. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. One is with AI, and I use ChatGPT in a very, very thorough prompt with a whole lot of things thrown in there to make sure that it uses every bit of space as possible to craft a really thorough quest. And the other thing I did was I just sat down and I wrote it myself. I enjoyed writing the quest myself. You don't have to use AI for everything. But if you do want to use it, then I have this prompt here that you could find it on the Discord. It's really lengthy, so I didn't put it on the Reddit. But if you're interested, just join the Discord and you'll be able to find it under tips and tricks. It's a little thread that I've called quest prompts for building quests. And if you can't find it, then feel free to @me on the Discord. I'm one of the mods on Pollution, so it's not too hard to get a hold of me. But the prompt is going to be there, and essentially what I do is I have a lore.txt file that has all the information about the world that I'm working on at the current moment, and I swap it out depending on the worlds. And I just grab information about locations, NPCs, and then I put a little bit of an idea of what I want for the quest. And I put all that at the very end under input with a couple other additional details, and then I hit enter, and it gives me a nice, well fleshed out, thorough plot and story with all the quest hooks and all the NPCs and everything that I need just to copy and paste over to the quest. And after that, I just put it in and I hit save. That's it. That's nice, it's quick, it's efficient. And then I could go in and I just play the game and I take a look and I see if the quest works or not. The game I created using ChatGPT, it was actually very clean when it was running. I ran it a couple of times and then I went back and I edited it a little bit and I went back and I edited it a little bit. So sometimes you'll have to go back and edit your quests every once in a while. There were just a couple things that I thought, oh, you know, I would like this here or that there. Whenever you get any kind of response from ChatGPT, you don't have to use everything that it gives you. You could always do a little edit afterwards to make sure that it's exactly how you want it to be. And this is another reason why I did another quest, and I just actually wrote this one out so you can see you don't have to use ChatGPT for everything. The quests can be pretty simple and straightforward, and you just tell the AI, hey, this is pretty much what happens and what I want the players to experience. The AI is going to take it from there, and it's going to take all the descriptions of the locations and the NPCs and all of that, and construct the rest of the quests that you don't fill in the gaps for. So you don't really have to be as meticulous as I am when you're building your quests. You don't have to, use the AI the same way I'm doing it. You could always just write it out, and if you know what your characters can do, if you know what they like, if you know what their factions are and what their goals are, if you know the areas and the points of interest pretty well, all you have to do is write it out and tell the AI, hey, this is exactly what happens, this is how I envision it, this is how I want the players to be hooked into the quest, this is the direction that it's going. Give it the GM instructions, make sure that your triggers are very solid and easy for the AI to follow, that they aren't too out there. You don't even have to do the outcomes, but when you do the outcomes, make sure that when you do them, you're rewarding the player if it's at the end of the quest, or you're making them meaningful to help set up the next point. That's pretty much all I've got for quests, at least for what I'm doing here. I just wanted to show you the one-step quests. I really think that that's a great way to start yourself off into quests. I might have a couple other videos later that talk more about it, but yeah, I hope that this has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, be sure to hit that like button and, join the Discord, join the Reddit. I'm pretty active on both. I'll see you guys there.